let's check it out, see what XM's going to be able to pull off with it. As Azure, they need this win, otherwise they will be reaching the end of the road for themselves here at ESL One Kuala Lumpur. Let's see if they can pull it off. As game one, whilst the second half definitely was a rough one, at least compared to their performance yesterday, there were some positives that Azure could have taken away from the first game of the series.
I wonder if this is like some coaching input here that they feel like, okay, the way we're going to beat this team and the way we struggled against Gaming Gladiators, we need to play faster. So let's get the tempo hero of all tempo heroes and put it mid, right? Just look for aggressive maneuvers, look for track gold, just try to run the map essentially. But these aren't the most traditional bounty hunter pairings, right? Like you don't have heroes that take true advantage of the vision of track, something like, you know, classic is bounty hunter support and, for example, Tinker mid, like heroes that just use the vision to constantly deal damage. So I'm a little bit concerned about where the track kills are going to come from. Your supports don't have the most damage ever. Your carry is a Faceless Void. The panel talked about that, how he doesn't have the best pairings to deal damage in Chrono. Liquids look, I would say, just a bit more stable overall.
So they
3-1 rune trade.
For first blood here, Tianming is getting blocked off on the retreat. This will be first blood. They're trying to give it to the core. They'll get it. Saberlight takes down Tianming. Low, he's got Time Warp, so we'll have to pop it to get away. But the stun, in fact, is back up. And with the Time Warp gone, he can't get out of this. It's a double kill for Saberlight. I mean, last game we saw Nisha get a double kill at the start of the game. This game we get a Saberlight with a double kill at the beginning of the game. I don't think, has there ever been a series in Dota 2 where the two games had one of their cores get a double kill at the start both times? That's pretty wild, Sid.
Yeah, just a great read from Liquid to send the exact heroes that they did where they did them, right? They're getting a 3v2 situation bottom against the Rubik Void, and it's the perfect combination of heroes between the slows and the stuns to get them both. Double kill for Saberlight, 3 bounty runes. About as good of a start as last game, which is kind of ridiculous to say because that was, you know, about as one-sided as it almost gets at this level in the rune fight. They managed to do the repeat, and this is very, very good news for the Mars, of course. Aside from just getting the 2 kills, this is also a lane matchup that's pretty good in general for Mars, I would say. The Faceless Void doesn't really bully you that much, so it should be very good for him.
Sent up into the air by that spike, but he'll be fine when he lands. He has got Time Warp ready to press. I mean, the mid lane matchup then, how do you consider this to go?
I think this is one of the better lane matchups for Bounty Hunter just because Invoker doesn't pose too much of a kill threat on you on his own.
You're pretty tanky, right? Good stats to start. Good armor.
I think you have the highest base armor in the game after Terrorblade, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, you're gonna last hit very well with every Donata if you need to. Maybe you can get a pot shot in on Invoker once in a while to steal some gold, but the most important thing if you're playing core Bounty Hunter is not
He's coming for the money.
Yep. He will go for it.
Oh, okay. goes for the deny. That's also effectively the money taken away from Nisha.
It's a bigger gold trade to deny
to
hit him once.
That's true, level 1. Now we'll get some money. Yeah, Leon can very much get away with these sort of moves. Very difficult for Nisha to offer up the damage required to threaten the bounty in the first few levels.
Looking at this Primal top, this set just looks so weird. This is one of the new Frostivus sets. We were talking about this in the depth. I was like, what is this cosmetic? Apparently, he's using one part.
He is, because the full set kind of looks like he's in some like proper Yeti costume. But as it is, I don't think he's got the headpiece, obviously, of a different one. So
different arms,
kind of half
right?
Yeti, half Primal Beast.
So weird.
A bit of a strange-looking fellow here.
What is this abomination? Channeling his inner Zai, you know? That's one of the things that Zai really brought.
Probably went for the ugly cosmetics.
He was building the ugliest heroes that he could.
I mean, that's the best thing to do. So. You got to find those combos so that you really stand out.
Reckon this top lane should be very good for Liquid. Ursa obviously can stand his ground against Primal Beast. It's hard for him to go in and commit with the trample, especially in the early levels. The damage isn't significant enough, and you have Lich covering you as well for the counterplay on Primal. So I'm expecting the Ursa in this game to have just a theoretical really good start, whereas in the last game it could have gone very poorly, but it didn't for Low. This time around for Mickey, you just expect it to come out ahead in the lane, I would say.
And whilst we don't see a lot of Ursa, I mean, in terms of the build that we had last game from Low, is that still kind of the only way you can play it? You always have to go for this Battle Fury build-up?
I don't like saying always in Dota, because I feel like there's space for creativity, but it does feel like if you don't go the Battle Fury route, you're very much...
Like, can you go some sort of like diffusal, battling, fighting build?
It's just very all in. It's
yep.
to the point where if you mess up 1 or 2 moves, you feel terrible. It's just high risk, and I don't think it's necessary, I guess is my point here. You're expected to do well in lanes, you can get the snowball going and just get a farming item on Ursa, play with your other heroes while he gets big. I don't think it's necessary to do the diffu at all.
There we go. Apologies for that small pause, but we're back on with the action. CS-wise in the mid lane, getting a pretty decent edge here, XM. 8 for 3 against the 4 for 2, and of course added into that then. A little bit of gold trade that he's consistently getting in his favor with the Janada. And looks to be on track to come out of this laning stage with an edge, unless Niche is able to really turn things around when the levels start to hit in for the Invoker.
This is a great first few waves for the Bounty Hunter. 11 and 4, Invokers 4 and 2. We'll probably get a couple here under the tower Nisha. So looking at 7 and 2, effectively almost doubling him on the bounty in the early waves. This is lunch money there. Both water runes going the way of XM here. By pushing into the tower when he did, Nisha had to commit to that defense, or he would have lost experience. So XM with a double water, essentially negating that EMP. Keeps going in for those trades. Reckon another thing in this lane, boots are going to be really important. That's kind of uncharacteristic in mid lane, that boots is such an important item, but Bounty Hunter will want to get those. Okay.
Well, and Tianming, they're able to find an opportunity to kill off Saberlight.
Not a lane I was going to look at for a kill.
No, not at all.
That is very surprising.
On top, Jin-Q.
Rubik kill Mars here. Not really sure how they built that up, but well done by Azure.
Nisha. Very low now on the mid.
Yeah, this lane, I was expecting it to be good for Bounty Hunter, but maybe this is even better than I thought. Just really getting in there, not giving Nisha space to play.
Yeah, I think just sort of the, as we mentioned, the armor, the high right click, and of course with the Janada on top of it, it's a pretty nice hero to lane with.
And the luxury is, a lot of Invokers matchups mid really suffer against him once they run out of mana. On Bounty Hunter, it's kind of whatever, You can still CS, Janada costs 0 mana, you can still do your thing. He's even going to glyph here to just be annoying to Nisha. Will even force out a TP here from the line of Boxy. Not going to connect, I believe, but maybe on the rune. He will steal. Okay, that's actually pretty impactful from Boxy right there. XM will think about going for the bounty, but can't make it there either. So now if Nisha gets the top rune as well, XM is essentially drained now. That looked like a not very valuable TP from Boxy, but actually turns out huge because he gets that bounty, or the water rune.
Now will be the moments now in which XM won't be too upset if one of his supports dies on a side lane. Could do with a bottle refuel.
Speaking from experience there, sounds like.
Let's see, otherwise he might have to take a walk back to base. Top lane. Success. Gonna get aggressive and in on top of Insania. Look at the pop with the Inkswell. They'll get the kill. Should easily be able to back off from this. I mean, Mickey's trying to chase down XXS. Gonna need a fair few more swipes though to be able to threaten this primal, and he's not gonna get them. XXS has the move speed.
Yeah, Mickey could have popped his one there and gone for a couple more attacks, but felt like he couldn't get the kill, and he would rather reserve these ones for when a dive is going to start happening onto him. It's a very strong defensive item for him to have. Primal Beast plus Scrim have a lot of burst, but not enough to combat the 21s, so serving that could come in handy. A little bit of a courier kill there from Q as well, but Mickey did get his item.
Yeah, I think we saw in the mid, XM opted for the trip back to base and the TP back out. But with that sort of focus and a little bit of backup in the way that Boxy's presence was able to swing the ability for Nisha to feel safe in this area, we are starting to see Nisha now really get an edge on towards XMCS, despite how good those first few waves did go for the bounty. Nisha on top.
Lion won mid by not ganking it. It's kind of funny, right? He ganked a water rune, and that was enough. The timing of that move, the impact was massive here. So high-level stuff from Boxy. XM will close in on level 6. Nisha already has it, so ahead by half a level now. Top lane, XXS.
Should be able. Oh no, he can't charge out of it because Insania's got the pullback. And that will set up for Mickey to take him down.
Yeah, it's tough being primal now. Ursa can jump on you at any point. You can't onslaught away as long as the Sinister Gaze is ready. He was having a good first few waves. Kind of a similar story, top and mid, right? Both of these cores for Azure were doing quite well, but now with the levels coming in and the little bit of assistance here and there, the map is starting to break apart a little bit. At the very least, the Ursa, or rather, excuse me, the Faceless Void is doing better than I expected, considering he's laning against a Mars that had 2 kills before the rune, or before the lane even began. Low has recovered quite well.
I mean, XM in a bit of an interesting spot here. He headed over into the jungle of Liquid to pick up his level 6. So he has got track online. But stepping forward on his own, he doesn't really have backup, so...
He doesn't have Shadow Walk, so he can't really
surprise them. Can't surprise them. I mean, what do you think the plan is here for the Bounty? Is he going to continue to stick around up here and really try and push for a kill? He's leaving this mid lane completely free for Nisha to get all the farm that he'd hoped for. Or is it just that it's a point now where XM doesn't feel he can lane against the Invoker anymore?
I think he can. I mean, he's still going to be able to get CS and stand there. Somebody has to inhabit this mid lane. It will be him again. So yeah, I'm not really quite sure what the plan was there with that move. Whatever it was, didn't really pay off. Maybe the call was that he has to move top to give a little bit of breathing room for the Primal.
Sure.
But the wave was already in a pretty good spot, so I don't even know if that was necessary. Quite sure what they were going for there. Down bottom, some good pressure onto low. The chain stuns into the tree. Well, time walk off, no damage at all, as a matter of fact. But we'll deal some in return.
And Boxy should be fine here. Unless Tianming can find the last few right clicks, but the Duke's around the trees. Oh, he's got him. Well played there for Tianming, able to read the attempt to Jukes there from Boxy.
Boxy could have survived that too if he wanted. He had 11 wands and a Fairy Fire, so he used his Clarity instead of using his healing items and was hoping to not get found. Taking the greedier approach there. And maybe at the end of the day, if he would have wanted and Fairy Fired and survived the Fate Bolt, he might have had to go back to base, right? So it's kind of just an awkward situation to use your items in, to be honest. Maybe the death is just better, but then obviously sucks to lose a Clarity, but that's all.
Still yet to see what XM's plans are in terms of his item build up this game. It's the phase into how
they want to get Saber like he has the arena though, he's first to move.
He's quick in response to get the backup in and the damage done to take down this Mars. Saberlight, he's caught by the time dilation. We'll push back the Void with this spear. But with the Phantom's Embrace upon him, a few more right clicks and the burst of Tianming, they'll take him down.
Here comes
also
the track.
Up with the track. Do they want to dive this tower though? I don't think they do. Despite the fact they have the 4 of them, they won't be able to chase for more there.
The worst possible scenario for Bounty Hunter. You show up right after the first kill that you didn't track, and the guy you track you can't dive. So again, XM not really accomplishing anything
He's falling behind here, bottom of the net worth of all the cores right now.
Yeah, he's choosing to skill Shadow Walk now instead of the 4th point in Janata. That has to just be the choice, right? You need to get active out here on the map. We'll lose a big chunk of his mana here, but...
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like, when you play the mid-bounty like this from behind, he's having to go for BKB by the looks of it as his first item. It's just a lot of reliance on your teammates, right, to do the damage, get the kills. You're just going to try and offer up that additional track to get the extra money.
North, gets trapped.
And he's got backup here, Boxy. See if they can take Boxy down in time. He's able to turn with the stun. He's walking this off. We've also got the Ursa appearing to the fight. They're ready to fight this. XM will be able to finish off Boxy, but they're going to lose both Xingqiu and XXS for this.
Double track. Okay.
He's going to have Shadow Wall back up in a second, but Nisha, he's caught him with the Tornado. They'll throw out the XM. They'll get him. He's gone. I mean, that was a big dive, really, from Azure, trying to take the fight to Liquid in this very deep area of the map. It cost them 3 lives.
Seems a little forced, doesn't it? Like a little bit like frustration almost, but I mean, this was the draft you chose. The last pick Bounty Hunter is very eager to get in there, but as you said, just too deep, really.
It's just, so far the impact of the bounty is definitely not being felt. It's a tough start here from XM. As Nisha, I mean, so you sort of see the difference now. The top of the net worth on the Invoker. This hero is going to be a huge problem. Nisha's going to be able to make all the moves up and down the map and very likely respond to any time that XM tries to poke at these side lanes.
And it's such an early vessel with 3 charges as well, right? So the responses that you have against the tanky hero like Primal Beast or the extra damage to kill the Faceless Void in the side lanes could very well come in handy for him. He's even running around with a Sentry Ward, so in case he finds an opportunity against Bounty, he could get him. Wouldn't mind seeing him buy a Dust as well. but things are covered. Top lane, Mickey.
Can go for him. He's able to get the bug off in time. Ult's popped and TPs are coming in. Low does have the Chronosphere. If Azure want to try and fight this, Nisha TPs in. The Arena is going to be dropped down as well as the spear. They'll fully focus Xinkyu. Xinkyu will fall low. He's pretty much out of mana. They get the tornado upon him. The stun follow-up from Nisha. They're controlling him. He's able to jump up to the high ground. Can he get back in to help out XXS? He cannot. He's just got to abandon this fight completely as XXS is dead. Full retreat now for XM and Low. Low will be able to take the Twin Gate out of there. XM on the run. Trying to force these fights though, and that was a situation where they did have their ultimates available. They had the Chronosphere, but they just couldn't find an opportunity to really lay things down. And I think sort of as maybe they can get Insania. I'll get themselves a little bit of a freebie here to the side, XM and Tianming. Yeah, as for these team fights, I mean, this one might not even be over. Nisha gonna be able to get any sort of catch? Not quite. XM, he's out into the river, he's away. But yeah, the hesitation from Low, he knows even if he drops the Chronosphere, how are they going to kill anyone in it?
Yeah, that's the problem that the panel was talking about as well strategically, right? But at the end of the day, getting that track kill on the way out, you know, the gold kind of equalizes. We got this. It's still a solid overall pickup for Liquid, I would say, just the state of the game. I think if you're even on gold at 15-20 minutes, you're generally pretty happy if you're playing against a core mid bounty hunter, right? Like this is a snowbally hero, so make no mistake, an even game favors Liquid in this state. And yeah, not really. Just another situation where Azure, a little bit of an own goal, right? They're kind of overextending a little bit, and then they have to back out, and then Void still takes the EMP, so they can't really go. And they seem a little bit uncertain about how to approach things, which sometimes is the sign of a little bit of an awkward strategy overall. Like the players seem a little bit out of their element in some of the fights. So hope for them that they find a way in. Void has a lot more damage now. He picked up Maelstrom. Now the Chronos are more likely to lead to kills.
Yeah, they're going to smoke towards this bottom lane and try again to get something done around Low's Chrono. At the moment from Liquid, just Saberlight in the area. See how carefully he opts to play. Now that the track's been thrown down, he'll be aware they're looking at him. They'll try and turn with the spear, but they've got the control. The telekinesis and the silence, nothing to be done by Saberlight. XM picks up the track kill.
Yeah, so every time he does a 3-man kill like this, there's 210 bonus gold. He gets 130 himself, his teammates got 40. So, you know, it's big. Every core kill bounty hunter finds is big. It's going to keep looking for more of that. Wonder if Liquid are going to try some adjustments with their hero placements to maybe cover Saberlight a little bit more. Generally, if you're playing against bounty, I think it
could be another little track kill here. Found Insania. Do they have enough damage? TPs are coming in from a couple of them. Insania's going to turn with the Sinister Gate, throw out the Chain Frost. He will die for this, but XM under the tower. They have the Chronosphere.
Well,
but he's taken tower damage. It was a nice effort there from Low, trying to save XM, but unfortunately XM also gets clipped in it. And now Low could be in trouble himself. He'll time walk, but Mickey and Saberlight, they're ready to dive. The arena's up, they'll kill off Low as well. And now XM is pretty much TP'd into his potential death. He's on his own. The Sunstrike comes crashing down upon him. They'll lose 4 here, Azure. As these fights not going their way, just an awkward moment there. You could see the intention from Low. He wanted to save XM, but if anything, only caused him extra problems and also potentially baited the rest of the team into turning up, trying to make a fight of it. And as it goes, it does not go well for Azure.
Yeah, with that Chrono a little bit better placed, that would have probably been fine, honestly. Like, sticking around for the Lich kill, I would say it's on the edge of being greedy, but you're a bounty hunter. You really want these moves to succeed. So I understand why they really want the collateral once they can get it, but yeah, that Chrono is just... It's worse than not using it. He ended up dying himself. If he just time walked away instead of trying to fight for more, that would have been fine, but a little bit of a head scratcher there for XXS as well, arriving on Primal Beast doing essentially nothing except feed away an additional kill. Azure crumbling a little bit here, just not good enough.
She's going to be laid down. Poxy's going to get... He's going to hear off the 2 of them. We'll back off, and XM and Xinkyu, they've also got Tianming by their side.
This bottom tower is not long for life.
XM.
He's so farmed on Nisha. He's got Solar Crest Vesselman at 50.
Tianming trying to get him for the sidelines. I mean, XM's getting the tracks laid down. Further TP's coming in. Is there any chance for Azure in this team fight? They'll get knocked back to XXS though, so he won't be able to initiate straight away with the onslaught. Soulbind's there. They'll take Insania out.
The
Connection with the double fade bolt coming onto the two of them. XM continuing to try and chase forward. XXS, can he close the gap on Nisha? He can. We'll grab him with the ultimate, but Mickey has arrived, and Mickey, he's ready for the cleanup. He'll pop the ult, beat into XXS. XXS unable to move away in time as the swipes stack up. Double kill for Mickey. The arena's up from Saberlight, traps in XXM. They're going to be able to get another. As Azure, they're so desperately looking to try and make these fights work, but as it was to be in the end of game one, every single team fight, Liquid are coming out on top.
And this really is a matter of just numbers as well, right? Your Faceless Void has nothing to offer, so he doesn't even show up. Low, no chrono, obviously was thrown away in mid. That's why Liquid are looking for this aggression and really trying to punish that big cooldown not being available and getting a great trade. The gold isn't really shifting that much because at the very least every kill Azure is getting is giving them the track, but the levels are really starting to become an issue. Ursa level 13, Invoker level 12, and next on the list, Void just only on that level 11, and the mid Bounty Hunter level 10. Finally now gets his talent, but it's, again, a hero that really needs to snowball and just not getting there. The snowball, if anything, is on the other side.
There's just so much,
mid-invoker.
So much weight on Low to carry this on the Void, really. You know, this Bounty and Primal, they're just not going to have the straight-up scalability, especially with the starts that they've had, to match up to, in particular, kind of this duo of Nisha and Mickey.
Oh, he already has Axe on Ursa, so opting to grab this as, yeah, we're going to see Tianming killed off here in the top lane. Took them a while, but they got there.
Yeah, Boxy will take that.
So Ursa's going to buy the Axe here as a counter to Chrono, right? So just being able to protect himself. Probably looking for a Roche with this kill as well to snowball things further. The only silver lining for Azure here is that you're close to a BKB on Bounty Hunter. That will give him more freedom in the fights, but you're still not completely safe. If Ursa gets on top of you, gets a couple of swipes, then that could be your death. So need to still keep it clean. And now with the Aegis, that's only going to make matters worse. Anyone else close to anything on Azure, BKB from Primal quite far off. That Blade Mail has just really not paid off whatsoever.
No,
Low's BKB is also very, very far, so upcoming 5 minutes, probably just all Liquid. Midas now. Is Nisha just getting a new item every 3 minutes? Is that what's going on here?
It certainly feels like it.
Pretty good.
4-0-5, been playing flawlessly. Proving to be a very, very strong last pick here for Nisha to get his hands on this draft.
There it is, BKB for XM.
He might be able to survive a little longer, steal a bit more money, but again, the question of whether or not they can actually kill some of these cores is not yet to be answered. As Liquid, they're ready with the setup.
It feels like the key ability in this game right now is going to be the Soulbind, right? You need Jin-Q to set up a good Soulbind so you can get double Fade Bolt, double Shuriken, double Track, and get those heroes low enough that
Saberlight,
they come in.
he's in with the jump, he's been able to get the arena in onto the three of them, they throw out the chain frost as well, they'll get the stolen arena, but I don't think it will matter. As they've lost Jin-Q low, he's in with the Chrono, has he got the damage? They've taken out Instania, he's trying to focus Nisha, but Boxy's able to turn with the Hex low, jumps forward over towards Boxy, Deafening Blast, pushes back low, but they killed off Boxy. If they can find anything more, they'll lose XXS. Low trying his best to clean up this fight. Nisha will fall. It's only Mickey and Instania left. They've got the Fable and the two of them. Low's going to continue to push on. They take the Aegis out of the hands and send them to Instania. They're ready to go for round two onto Mickey after this Aegis. They'll catch him with the silence. Azure, they hit back hard. A team wipe for them. The tier 1 will be going down in the mid lane. They make it work. They absolutely do. This time round, the Chronosphere from Low, it was more than enough.
What an insane result after this start. This is such a good arena into Chain Frost combination. You kill one hero, you get the Primal Beast down to half, but that right there is the BKB reveal of Bounty Hunter, making all the difference. XM wouldn't even have got to play the fight without this item. Now he gets to tank up, he gets to go through, getting all the track kills in. They get a good Chrono as well. Low this time around on the mark.
Absolutely,
and as soon as you're ahead, this is Bounty Hunter in a nutshell. If you're ahead in a fight and you get to keep going, you're just racking in that gold. I think that was about a 6,000 or 7,000 gold swing in one
Look at the graph. Yeah, quite the reset.
I'm sure we'll get it again once
there
we
we go, pumped up, absolutely. Yeah. Azure, they had a tough series yesterday. They had a tough game one here today, but this wing back, this punch back here in game 2, it's got to feel fantastic for Azure.
Yeah. It's almost a full axe now for XM off of this one fight. He
That's
just got
gonna be pretty
so
good.
stupidly much gold on the bounty hunter.
Because when you get
that exchange.
you're able to get sort of the double bounces as well with the soul bind. And think of the money.
Yeah, so he's going to get more cast range on the shuriken toss, and he gets Janata on it, right? And if that bounces on 2 targets with that,
It's just gonna.
soul bind,
It's so much money.
It is so much money, and it's so much damage. So, yep. All right, we're back to a game that's kind of been blown wide open by one moment. I think Liquid.
Yeah.
Maybe might have to start considering more than just the Saberlight BKB. I don't know if that's going to cut it if you keep getting caught by these massive spell combos with the Soulbind.
Yeah, it was sort of, honestly, sort of the support duo of Azure in that fight that I felt really did a lot in controlling Mickey. You see, it was sort of between the stolen arena that kind of held him at the back of the fight, and then just straight up the Xingqiu with the slows and such. It stopped Mickey on that first life really being able to do much damage at all. He was almost completely controlled by the two of them, Xingqiu and Tianming.
I think for Liquid side, I want to calm things down a little bit. Maybe start planning for a second Roche. It's quite far away. The early respawn is 4 minutes.
Oh, they're ready to go again, Azure.
Yeah, they
got Chrono back up.
Talk about momentum. You just want to keep going, right? Once you've tasted the gold as Bounty Hunter, you just want more. It's quite addictive to play aggressive as Bounty. So, going to be looking for anything he can. And the nice thing about smoking with Bounty Hunter, even if you find a support, it still doesn't feel that bad, you know? Like other lineups, maybe not the best kill. If they find one hero here, it's
don't move.
1,000 gold. Don't find him.
Oh, smoke's going to be dispelled. Looks like they didn't notice, though. They're TPing out of there.
That's some S-tier awareness to stand in that spot at that time and actually break the smoke with that ward as well. Just really well done from Boxy. And in turn, this will give Mickey the confidence to go and farm up the bottom wave as well as take this hard camp. So it's the little things. It's all about information when you play against that bounty. Get the waves pushed out, force him to show somewhere, so you get a little bit of breathing room.
He's pretty much going to have it, the Aghanims, for the next fight. 500 gold away here, XM. That last team fight really giving him the recovery here, absolutely needed. As he's now starting to get very close again to catching up to Nisha's farm. That one fight making such a huge difference. Only 1k gold difference now between the two mids. See what the call's going to be from Liquid. That last fight, you've got to remember, was their fight with an Aegis as well. They did not come out on top of it. Liquid put in a bit of an unusual situation for how everything else has gone so far in this series. Gonna have to take a bit more precautions.
Now that Soulbind's going to be even easier to land for Xingqiu. Getting the Aether Lens picked up. Easier for him to land the shard saves as well. The Inkswell able to potentially bail Void out of trouble. All you need is to Inkswell him so you can get his BKB off, and he should be safe against the Dire lineup. There's the only BKB piercing damage there really is Mickey's Versa, but he's not going Basher. He's going for the constant Earthshock build with Octarine Core, I believe, coming up next. So makes you wonder if that's the right approach here in this game. So we'll have to wait and see. Shiva's on the way for XXS. Gets the Veil first, of course.
They've got a very strong fight now.
3k away, but, you know, step by step.
And with the Soulbind and with the Aghanims now on XM, a lot of Liquid's heroes will die in the Chronosphere.
Yeah, and a BKB Pulverize too, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be very, very careful with your positioning. I think if a good Soulbind comes out, the fight's already doomed if you're not very careful.
Yeah. Yeah, the supports of Azure can have huge impact this game.
Yeah.
Between, as you say, a good Soulbind and Tianming with these potential huge steals.
They're not interested in holding this tower, Liquid. No. Bail.
Dire's top tower is falling.
It'll be interesting to see how Liquid try and play their way out of this game. It's gotten a whole lot harder for them now. Still have the slight edge, but in these team fights, around the Chronosphere at this point, it's not easy for Liquid. They have to somehow get the jump on the Void or bait out an unfavorable Chronosphere. XM, he's got the BKB, quick with the reaction there to make sure he doesn't get caught in the Spear Arena combo.
What? Oh, the Gossamer Cape. I was like, why? How did he miss? Yeah, that's a good item against Bounty Hunter, let me tell you. Gossamer Cape on the Lion, definitely
the right item to choose here. Void getting jumped.
Saberlight's going to get in with the opening, but Lowe's able to time walk up to the high ground. He's fine. Soulbind's going to get thrown down as well as the Phantom's Embrace. Shines not through, and the bounce is coming in there, bringing Saberlight very, very low.
Double Fade Bolt, double Shuriken toss. He lost like 1,600 health on the Mars.
And of course the gold on top of that.
And yeah, we were talking about the Grimstroke save in the Void. He has the secondary one from Rubik. It's just a lot of layers of protection for Low to feel confident being the front line, giving the vision and information, and just setting his team up for success. I think a very good understanding here of what they need to do. Speaking of that,
minute and a half left.
Getting Roche will definitely be next on the menu. Taking away Roche number 2 from Ursa is huge.
Yeah. I mean, Liquid's going to know that they're looking for this. So Liquid, the smoke comes out. Mickey is the one at the front of this effort.
He will be spotted.
Azure, they'll know that this sort of play is being made. They won't imagine that Mickey's on his own. It's like Liquid trying to cut off the back lines of Azure, but XM avoiding this nicely.
Quite awkward position here for the bounty. He will have to run through the entire enemy team to get to his own.
But at the same time, if a fight kicks off, he can start chipping away at the back lines.
He has
Liquid might not expect it
on the bounty.
See how they start things off.
It's fine.
With the silence thrown down, XXS is going to open things up on the Saberlight. Saberlight has to put the BKB, he'll get control through it, but for now, by the ultimate. BKB soon coming to an end. Mickey's going to jump in towards XXS. Boxy will be able to hold back XM with a stun, but there's the Chrono. He's out under the two of them, Lowe's in with the damage. Saberlight's out. Same to be said for Boxy. It's a clean 2 kills off the back of that Chrono for Low, and he's not done yet. Tianming with a stolen Sinister Gaze controls Insania. Triple kill for Low. They continue to look for this cleanup. Boxy will buy back. But I don't know if Liquid's rectifying this team fight as Low and XM. They can run down at Mickey and Nisha. Mickey will try and fight back. They'll push back Low with a deafening blast. The blast, the stolen finger, if I could have believe from Tianming, but it was onto the enraged Ursa. Low. Sticking low to the Spirit Vessel, but have time will back up again. See if he wants to stand his ground. The Stone Strike will come down upon him, but Low, he's surviving through it all. He knows his limits, gets back in there. I mean, they get a team wipe and more. That was like 6 kills. But Azure, Roshan's back up. They are steaming ahead now. 7K advantage here for the squad.
Oh my god. The fight breakdown is so crazy to look at. The amount of gold. Both the mid and the Faceless Void get 2,300 gold each, and they will get Aegis and Cheese.
I mean, Liquid, they quite literally cannot afford to take these team fights. The gold swings every single time massively in Azure's favor. They get the Aegis and Cheese. I mean, great stuff there from Low, keeping his cool. I mean, he was playing that last fight as if he already had the Aegis. So he could stand his ground, taking stun strikes to the face. He didn't care.
Also just full trust in his supports, right? Just really, that freedom is so important in a game like this when you're playing against. The panel was talking about how there's some difficulty for Void here against especially the Lion, but knowing that you have the Heart Dispel and the Lift to back you up, you can play the hero to limits that usually wouldn't be available. And that makes all the difference. Low is giving the vision the whole fight on Void, and of course, on top of that, XXS just initiating. Just goes in there first on the Primal Beast, pops his BKB, and just starts the fight off. All you need as the Void and the Bounty Hunter in this type of fight is to see heroes. You just need time. Eventually, the opportunity is going to present itself. And it paid off big there. 10,000 lead now. Tormentor going to XXS. Maybe not what they would have hoped for here, the rock throw, but everything helped.
More damage to throw into the Chronospheres.
That's fair.
Not that Lowe's really needed that. Honestly, with the build-up of the Skadi and the Mjolnir, he is single-handedly killing whoever he catches in the ults at this point. It's been very nicely played here on the Faceless Void. And yeah, Mickey was just sort of short of having his own shard right in that last fight. When you go for this Octarine build, a key part of it is having the shard done, but he didn't quite have the money. He'll have it for the next time round, so we'll be able to benefit off the fact that he's able to consistently trigger the Enrage off the Earth Shock in the next fight.
And I guess if you want to take it a bit further, it's worth discussing whether this is the right build for the game. I would actually like to hear that from the panel after. I think that, because
you would maybe like to see what more prioritization in being able to jump and kill the Void.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, because I understand what the mindset is with going this build against Faceless Void, right? You want to have the constant Enrage running, so if you get chronoed, you don't die, but you already have the Frost Shield that can help you. You have the Mars that can help you as well, protect. And offensively, the problem you run into with this build, yeah, it's great, you're not getting killed by Void, but guess what you're not doing? You're not killing him either. He has the defensive supports protecting him. If you have a Basher and you have some serious single target damage, maybe you can take him out in the fight instead, or maybe you can at least, you know, pop the BKB and kill supports.
Yeah.
Like, the
the supports have been the bigger problem almost, right? Tianming as well as Jinkyu get to play very freely. They're not afraid of this Ursa just one-shot KOing them in a jump. So I don't know if this was the right approach.
He'll be all right here, I think. I mean, XX says he's going to see if he can
Okay.
maybe
Little
force
bit
the
of
reaction.
game of chicken here.
Yeah, who wants to commit for the fight?
Nobody.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
And you can see from the mindset of the other cores on Liquid, right? Nisha went back for the BKB on the Invoker. I was debating that, okay, you have the BKB on the Mars, the Invoker wasn't going for it as an early item. He had to. He had to make this adjustment. Now you're in this limbo where Ursa doesn't have it, so if he gets caught in something, after his
tornado.
break is down.
We'll catch on the two of them. They'll head away from this fight, Liquid. They've got what they came for. They took the tier 2. They don't want to be entering into any 5v5 right now, at least with the Aegis still on low for just under a couple of minutes.
Yeah, when do you feel confident now is the question, right? Like, do you have to wait out the full Aegis?
I think you might. Do you really want to fight into this Aegis and cheese? I don't know if you do.
I think you don't, but I'm...
They'll try for pickoff.
Okay.
See if they can burst through XXS quite quick
cheese.
enough. They can't at all. BKB Cheesy's back up to full HP, and he's ready to turn. Gets the grab onto Saberlight. Saberlight puts the BKB, but it's too late. He's gone. And maybe even more. Mickey been soulbound here.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the awkward.
I mean, he's going to end up getting linked here over towards Nisha. The bounce is coming in with the Shuriken. Plenty of gold flying back the way of XM. They'll get out with their lives. And we're seeing the fun continue, really, for Azure. It's at the point now, Jinkyu, he's got his completed E-Blade.
Close call.
So no doubt about it that at this point of the game, there's no damage issues for Azure. They can kill the heroes now. E-Blade on this Grim, amping up the potential of these burst spells that are being thrown down onto the soulbound targets. It's a lot for Liquid to try and survive through, and as we're seeing, even if they do live through the initial bursts on Liquid, they're just not quite killing the heroes quick enough themselves. The game really feels like it's sort of turned on its head, where it's Liquid that just have the damage issues at this point.
Butter too? Okay. This is going to become a problem for Liquid quite fast. We already talked about how it's hard to kill the Void. Obviously, they don't want to fight him when he has Aegis. No doubt about that. But now that he doesn't, when it expires, what's your angle here into the fight? As long as there's any sort of protection for the Void, I think he cannot be the initial target. I think he's always going to survive. Now with this evasion from the Butterfly, he's got 3k health, 2 defensive support spells to rely on. I guess some sort of a smoke wraparound where you use this newly picked up Ursa Basher and you try to jump, I want to say Grimstroke probably is the best target. We have to kill him before he gets E-Blade off.
Yep.
So even that isn't... It's tough times for Liquid. And this looked like a game that they were just going to run away with, but that one fight in mid, I want to say it's about 20 minutes ago by now. It feels like it's been a while.
Radiant's top tower
Really
is under
changed
attack.
absolutely everything. Looks like Nisha is planning for a pike. I guess he's just going to try to go like a little bit right-click style, stay out of range of the Faceless Void, try to do some damage with Alacrity over time in the fights, and maybe even commit harder down that path. Could have made a case for potentially going Ags here, together with, you know, the arena.
He's switching through the items, Nisha.
Yeah, the problem with Ags, I think, is that even with a good arena, there's just going to be too many BKBs, right? There's triple BKB on the enemy cores. We've already talked to death what saves they have to even get out of there. So you probably have to kind of play for yourself more.
Yeah.
more so
Yeah, because he's shifted over to the Bloodthorn queued up now.
Yeah.
Just some way to sort of allow them to have increased amount of single target damage.
I guess he doesn't like the sound of Hex. Again, just the problem is even if you Hex and catch out someone, the saves are always going to...
Yeah. I mean, Saberlight's going to try and get the Hex online for the team, but of course it's quite a while away. Like settled for finishing off the Lotus
go
first.
Hex after all.
Oh, he did.
He swapped it up again.
Do you like that then? The way that he sort of ended up going with the decision making here?
I don't know, man. I feel like there's no good item. I think that's also why he shuffled through them like 4 times, right? 'Cause
4 different items.
if you go for the right-click build, is it really going to make enough of a difference? If you go for the Hex, there's the potential, at least, that you can make some sort of a nice combo play where Ursa jumps one of the supports and you Hex the other. Like, maybe that's how you go about it. But yeah, none of the items feel truly great. Is this the best one? Hard to say, really. I understand the potential, at least, of what he's trying to do with it. And I think that's
probably the mindset you should have as a player in this situation is, okay, if everything goes right, what item do I want to have? Because that's kind of the spot you're in. You really need things to come together beautifully. Excellent. Stealing money. Just a little bit of cash.
No, a little bit of cash for him as well. Catches Boxy. Liquid very much just trying to work out the recovery plan now in this game.
This is a big item here for Mickey. So with that Abyssal, should be able to jump and just absolutely blast Grim. I think you can't save him as Rubik. It goes too fast. If you lift and try to throw him away, he might have died beforehand. So it's on Jinkyu to be
On
fast.
XXS. See if they can burst him here. Lowe's in with the backup. He's got the chrono out of the two of them. Straight away focus Nisha. Nisha's going to be going down. BKB's popped. He's ready to stay on top of Mickey. XXS has got the grab, has the control, as Mickey will also fall. Liquid, they try their chances there, feeling that maybe they had a situation in which XXS was alone. It was not the case. The backup comes in, and Azure just continuing to make these plays look so easy.
And a bit of an X factor that we haven't covered yet, we get to see in play there. Obviously, Pulverize completely ignores status resistance. So you're in that enrage as Ursa, and you burn your entire enrage just sitting in a primal stun that can't be stopped by anyone on the enemy team. So, yeah, pretty tough situation. If you have popped it already, you kind of need to save it until you get Pulverized, but
Dire's bottom tower has
had used it there, and XXS
I mean,
capitalizes massively. This should be a lane of barracks.
They might be able to get a huge amount done here because Low, he's just picked up the refresher. So if he sees a chance to just quickly pop out with the second chrono to really do the damage here, he'll take it.
Oh, is that stolen alacrity? Oh, you betcha. That's
Dire's bottom tower.
a 350 damage void per hit with nice attack speed. You know, Frost Shield is going to delay things a bit, but yeah, okay, whatever. We'll go to another lane, says Low, gets alacrity again. So being a bit annoying here. Kind of drained XXS almost dry now.
I mean, with Mickey having no buyback, and even if he did,
Dire's middle barracks
there's just nothing they can seemingly do to push them back. See Nisha throw down the combo, but Low's easily able to sidestep it and get back on with the push. Now force the fortification out.
They are going to respect this. So honestly, nice hold by Liquid to not lose barracks here. I think that was a quite unlikely outcome for them to be able to do this cleanly.
They're going to try and sneak Roshan, I think.
Yeah.
Because Mickey's back up, he can TP over. He's on the top half of the map, of course, here during the night time. They're going to try and go for this quicker than Azure would potentially expect. But I think you know, surely Azure will try and check this out.
This is the most likely play for Liquid to do under pressure, so I do think they will expect it, but I think you still got to go for it.
I think you have to take this risk as Liquid, yeah.
And this is awkward now, because Liquid don't see the Azure. Now they see someone. Now they see Low on the ward, and they also see XXS, so they know they're headed this way. They know they're not getting smoked at least, but feel like they won't have the time to take it.
I mean, Chrono's naturally back up as well now, so they'd have to face the threat of two Chronos.
DD too.
Liquid, they're hanging around though.
Okay.
Do they really want to take this fight? I think this might be a smoke and retreat, fighting into the DD and the double Chronosphere. They're still hanging about here, Liquid. Actually feeling that they've got to try something. Mickey showing on the wave.
Name of the game here for Azure is Get Vision. You see heroes, this Void is going to solo kill 2 or 3 of them with this double damage, as well as Refresher.
I mean, it looks like they are trying to sort of bait here with Mickey. Mickey just running straight in on them, trying to force some sort of response. They do get the catch on the bounty on the side. They found XM in the trees. Can they burst in the gap? But Low's here with the Chronos, caught the 3 of them, takes out Foxy, over towards these 3 throws. XXS with the controller to stabilize. There's the second Chronos to make sure he's got the control to take out Nisha. Nisha cannot ghost walk away from this. As Low, he continues to clean up. Triple kill for him on the backlines. Liquid trying to hold back XXS, but the BKB's up. He comes crashing towards them. The remaining members of Liquid, they've got to run. They've got to hide. Table Lights in the trees does get pinged out, but doesn't look like Azure will come looking for him. Liquid able to cut their losses a little bit there. And Azure coming out on top again. Over to the Roche they go. They themselves will secure this Roshan.
I think that could have actually gone even worse for Liquid. I think Low a little bit slow on the second chrono there. Could have maybe got both heroes again in the second one. But still, you're in a position where things don't need to go perfectly. They just need to go well enough. And I mean, the 3-man first chrono is obviously gorgeous. Didn't have to be a secondary one immediately after on all of them, but yeah. Name of the game, get that vision, get the jump, and the fight is almost done the moment it starts. Really difficult for Mickey to find an initiation angle on his Ursa here and get the big targets. They were, the way Liquid started that, finding XM without support protecting him was actually about as dream of a start as you can have, right? Like, considering how clutch the Azure supports have been with their positioning, that was a moment of weakness that they tried to exploit, but ended up setting themselves up for a really nice chrono from Low. I guess the silver lining is he might not have DD next time, but I should say AD nowadays. Now it's a...
That's true. Amplify damage.
Hey, amplify damage. That's going to take a while to catch on, I'm sure.
Aegis is there. Of course, for Low for the next moves. Maybe the one bit of information that Liquid can play with is the fact that XM obviously had to buy back in that last team fight.
Yeah.
So potentially, if they can find the bounty, could put them in a bit more of a vulnerable position, but still with the lead overall that Azure have, it's going to be very difficult for Liquid to try and cover this huge difference, this huge advantage that Azure have had against them really for the last 30 minutes or so. It's constantly building up this lead.
Trying to think of what big item can come out from Liquid to really shake things up here. Mars is going for a secondary Hex. Wondering if there's a world where you get Refresher instead and you get an Arena, disengage.
Sure. I mean, the BKBs are getting low.
Expire, and then you go for the second one. I feel like there's a decent chance that that will be more impactful than a Hex here, because again, I don't feel like Hexes necessarily solve the problem, but maybe if they throw enough of them at it, they can, you know, re-hex after an Inkswell, or they can maybe hex the right multiple targets at once. Maybe that's the idea here. Definitely. The execution required from Liquid with this itemization is extremely high. Like, everybody needs to do the perfect play in the fight. You need to have great communication. If you end up both hexing the same target at the same time, the fight is almost already in trouble from that. Okay, we're taking turns at having FPS problems here, it seems. It was Jin-Q, and then everybody got inspired and decided, I'm going to disconnect as well. So, a little bit of a downtime here. Looks like they're reconnecting in pretty quickly, though.
I mean, so for Azure, with this round of the Aegis, do you imagine we're going to see them go for the aggressive play to try and get onto the high ground?
Yeah, I think so.
They don't really have a lot to be scared of, right? Well, we've got the Refresher from Low back up in 35 seconds, so he's very close to having another double chrono.
Right, keep Low in front, let him hit the tower, keep your supports well in good formation behind to protect him if he does get opened upon. Liquid's going to have to try to poke him with spells, or they're just going to lose the towers and the barracks, of course. So they will need to eventually get things started. And if they fail at any point and Low gets saved and gets a good chrono, the game ends. So very, very difficult defense coming up. The chrono's going to line up very nicely. 30 seconds cooldown. Once this wave reaches the base, he's almost got it. And you can tell here what Azure's plan is. They're smoking the other 4 behind so that they can offer that protection. It's particularly for the support's sake that they're smoked here so they can keep that good position and not get surprised.
Okay. He's going to get caught by the telekinesis. Trying to play around with him. He'll get the enrage of Saberlight. He'll jump the back lines with the Arena. Up his BKB. They're trying to burst through Tianming, but Tianming's perfectly fine. He's still at 50% HP. They couldn't threaten this Rubik. So the telekinesis away from this. Low will kill off Boxy. Mickey's trying to chase, really wants to kill these supports, but the silence is back up for GQ. He turns with the Phantom's Embrace. Mickey's getting surrounded. He's got to retreat now. He's got to run. He'll get the enrage up before the Phantom's Embrace connects, but XXS in on top of him, grabs him, slamming him down into the ground. Mickey's gone. Liquid, they've got to continue to run. As the slow catches over towards the side, they've found themselves the Mars, they've found themselves Saberlight. The buyback comes out from Mickey, the buyback comes out from Saberlight. Nisha picked apart here by Low. As Low straight onto the barracks, he's still got a chrono ready to drop as well.
Doesn't quite have the mana for it just yet, though.
He's got it now. It's the jump, and there's the chrono. Mickey ends up walking into the edge of it. Low's ready to try and clean up this game. He'll look towards Saberlight, finish up the Mars. It's a dieback for Saberlight. Mickey desperately jumping away back towards the fountain, with the Shuriken mounts are out. XM finishing Insado with a hard-hitting Janada hit. So at least McKay will be able to heal up a little bit in the fountain. He's actually going to jump back in aggressively. We'll get Tianming. Same with the BKB closing in over towards Mickey, but the ice wall's down, so they won't cross it. We're trying their best to hold the defense low. He's closed the gap onto Nisha. They've got the track, they've got the detection here as Nisha's out as well. No buyback left for him. And Stadia to fall. It's only Mickey and Boxy left in the game, trying to fight the full team of Azure. They'll find Jingqiu. Mickey, can he really do this on his own? Boxy comes in with a clutch stun and burst to take Tianming down, but there's nothing left for Mickey to play with. He will fall. Boxy, the last man standing, also to be taken out. And there's more than a TY pit for Azure. What a game from them. After a rough series yesterday, a tough game one here today against